Welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Forces. Last time we ended off on a bit of a sour note, and this time we actually do have a lot of exposition dumping. We have a lot of story coming up, and I'm not going to be able to get to all of it, but hopefully later in the playthrough I'll have a chance.
Eggman said when the plan is completed, we'll all be wiped out.
I don't like the sound of that. Normally I just laugh at an Eggman plan. He's already conquered most of the world, so what's this plan of his?
Hey, I hate to butt in on your important meeting, but we're under attack! Shadow is tearing through our troops. We need reinforcements.
Shadow? The last time I saw him, he was fighting for Eggman.
That doesn't make sense. Why would Shadow help the enemy?
Perhaps he's being controlled by that strange power.
Whatever it is, I'll figure it out.
We are coming up on a bit of a momentous occasion. We are going to Sunset Heights to meet not only the coolest, edgiest hedgehog around, Shadow the Hedgehog, but we are also at stage 15 of 30. Meaning, this is the midway point of the game, and if you can't tell, we are still very linear, and as you'll see later, the platforming is still very basic and easy. Fun fact, this is the first stage we ever saw of Sonic Forces, and a lot of people were like, oh, this looks kind of linear, but it's okay, this is probably early game, right? This is probably the first level. They probably made it really easy so that, you know, people who are just getting into the boost formula Sonic games don't really have to worry. You know, Generations, Green Hill was somewhat linear, even though it was definitely more involved than literally any stage in this game. But it was still kind of linear in the beginning, and then it opened up as time went on. We didn't see the entirety of the stage until launch. So a lot of people were like, okay, it might be linear, it might be the first stage, it might open up. And no, just no. This stage isn't bad, but it is kind of the flagship of the beginning of disappointment for this game. So, that's kind of a fun little note to end the stage on. You can also play as Shadow in this game once you've beaten the free DLC, Episode Shadow I think is what it's called, and we'll go over that at a later date. But you can play the game as Shadow, and Shadow can meet up with Shadow. It's kind of a cute little detail. I was actually thinking about doing it, but it's, you know, I'll save it for later.
All right, Shadow, what's the deal?
Chaos control!
Another Shadow? He just disappeared.
That was a fake.
A fake? How?
Infinite can create virtual reality projections. They have mass and form, but no heart and soul.
Virtual reality? So all those familiar faces that were part of Eggman's army?
Replicas. The problem is, they may not be real, but their powers are as formidable as the originals. According to Rouge, Infinite can create unlimited numbers of them.
So fight after fight, he can just keep cranking out counterfeits?
Exactly. As it stands, there's no way we can win this.
Of course we can win this. We always do. We just haven't figured that part out yet.
So I guess you could say it's good enough to be as fake.
Listen up! We just got word that Eggman's forces are undermanned at his headquarters in Metropolis.
They're probably staging somewhere else as part of Eggman's plan. This could be our only chance to take the city.
Exactly. That's why we're focusing on a full frontal assault on Metropolis. I'm calling it Operation Big Wave.
Who cares what it's called? What's important is to have a well-thought-out strategy.
I thought up this strategy in about a minute and a half. We're going in hard and fast. We're not gonna stop till Eggman's army is destroyed. Sonic is busy fighting Shadow, but the rest of us can do this. We've got the strength and the spirit to win. There's no finer group that I'd want to fight with.
Ha! Great speech! Let's give Eggman an old-fashioned beatdown.
They have more in sheer numbers, so the idea of a quick, focused attack isn't bad. We also have Sonic. I mean the other Sonic. So I have no doubt we can do this. Also, if we can destroy the Phantom Ruby, we should be able to send the other Sonic home. At least I hope so. This is all new territory for me.
Okay, let's head straight for Eggman's HQ. Time to save the world, people!
So first of all, yeah, this isn't happening. I already pretty much told you it's not happening. But also, this is a bit of a weird case, where I'm going to show 2 complete playthroughs of this level, with 2 different Wispons, because this first one is about as masterful as I could get with the level, and it's still an A rank. Because this stage introduces a reoccurring thing that I'm not particularly fond of. A lot of stages in this game are designed around a specific Wispon, and without that specific Wispon, you are literally never getting an S rank in the level. You're just not. Like, no matter how well you perfect the stage, it's not happening. And I don't like that. This is, to be fair, it's my fault that I kept trying over and over again with different Wispons that weren't the Lightning Wispon, because they make it pretty obvious that the Lightning Wispon is what you're supposed to use here. But I still think I don't like that in general. I don't like the idea that you have to go into a stage and either, you know, quit the stage or continue to try over and over again to try to get an S rank just because you didn't come in with the exact Wispon they wanted you to. From this point onward, it's pretty safe to just go into every single avatar level with the Lightning Wispon. There are a few exceptions, but 9 times out of 10, you will be better off if you just go into every single stage with the Lightning Wispon, because the Lightspeed Dash is, for all intents and purposes, the fastest way to get around these levels. So if you ever see 2 alternating pathways, and one of them is like a Burst Wisp pathway, and the other is a Lightning Wisp pathway, don't use a Burst Wisp. Don't even try, because there is no way you're going to get an S rank. This right here was after about... I did mess up a few times, so I'm not going to say it was mastery. But it was after about maybe like 20 minutes of replaying the stage over and over again, and I still got an A rank. And then here's this, you know, playthrough where I actually didn't do as well as I did on the Burst Wisp playthrough, in my opinion, but I still got it done and got through with flying colors and an S rank to show for my efforts. So yeah, again, I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's cool. While I'm here, I might as well talk about something else though, because I've kind of finished my tangent and we still have quite a decent bit of level to go. I usually ignore Sonic stories, and I don't talk about them that much, especially in playthroughs. If you've ever seen my Sonic Lost World playthrough, which most of you probably haven't, I talked about the fact that I think the story is garbage in that game, but I can ignore it, and I can still enjoy the fun 3D platformer for being a fun 3D platformer. However, it's really hard to do that in this game. One, because I have plenty of problems with the gameplay that make it, you know, not a fun 3D platformer. But more importantly, the story is integrated with the levels. You can see in the top right corner, characters have been talking to us since episode 1, and I've just kind of ignored it. But it's actually one of the main reasons why it's so hard for me to not pay attention to the story in this game. Because in other games, in Lost World, in Colors, in Generations, the terrible story and or lack thereof was, you know, this thing that was just off to the side, that I could just be like, oh yeah, whatever, I don't care. But here, because it's integrated with gameplay, I am constantly, you know, being reminded that, oh yeah, this is going on in the background. And that's kind of one of the main reasons I harp on it more than I do other Sonic stories. I believe you can turn those off. I'm pretty sure you can turn those in-level commentary, ongoing commentary things off. So if they're ever getting annoying, you know, don't worry. But, you know, I don't know. That's kind of the way the game comes base, is with those on, and if you want to get the whole story, you have to have those on, and a lot of the times it doesn't make sense what happened without those on. So, I don't know. It's a problem, man. I I can't ignore the story because of that, but maybe I'm the weird one here.
More ants to crush. I wonder if this world can offer me a real challenge.
Huh?
And as if to answer, the world sends me a trembling child. I'm going to fight and die here, or run away in fear again.
Hey, don't be scared. This is your moment to shine. Keep going. Don't let your fear own you.
Fine. I will teach you fear, then pain, and then, well, at least the fear and pain will end.
Through the power of remembering cheesy Sonic one-liners, it's time to take on the greatest evil in the game, Infinite. Who's actually not too bad. This is one of the more traditional boss fights in this game, where you're in a really small arena, he's throwing attacks at you. It's not kind of like your usual boost formula, straight line, you know, chase after him, he's moving fast. It's pretty basic stuff, and I actually do not mind this boss fight at all. I think it's actually alright, because it incorporates Infinite's main cool attack, which is, you know, cool as is. That being said, it's pretty short, and there's not a whole lot going on here, but I still think it's a cool idea, and it also ends like really quickly, but like visually it's flashy, it's you against the big baddie, and it really does make, you know, this mid-game feel like it's endgame. They kind of try to trick you out here. It doesn't work, because at this point we are at episode 4, which is probably like a solid, you know, hour into the game, 2 if you're slow. So it's not done. This game is short, but it's not that short. But yeah, I don't know. It's short. It's alright. I don't really have a lot to say about Sonic boss fights. I don't. They're not why I play Sonic games. They're not why most people play Sonic games. So if they're serviceable, like this one is, it's fine. That can be a little bit harder without the proper wisp on, so keep that in mind. If you're just using the burst wisp on, that actually can be a bit of a pain in the ass.
I remember you. You ran from me before. You survived then, but you throw it all away now. Curious. This will be goodbye. What? How is this possible? It can't be. How did you? No matter. They have only 2 days left. Let them contemplate the inevitable till I end this once and for all.
Things were going well with Operation Big Wave. Then everything fizzled out when that Phantom Ruby kicked in.
That fake shadow was created using the Phantom Ruby's power, right? Even if it's a virtual reality projection, it's as strong as the real shadow.
Rouge, have you found the intel I was looking for?
No, not yet. But I have reports that Eggman's database is located at the chemical plant. If we can check that out, we might find something there.
That sounds like a promising lead. We have to figure out the secret behind Infinite's power and virtual reality. Tails, can you handle this?
Got it. I'll take Sonic, I mean the other Sonic, with me and head to the chemical plant.
Whoa, that was a lot of information, but let's get to gameplay first. We have another classic Sonic stage. Yay. Chemical plant. This is where most people on their first playthrough realize that there's an issue, because if you run down this massive slope or you roll down it, there's this area, the shortcut that I just took, that skips a lot of annoying platforming. You will not be able to make it in a normal classic Sonic game with normal physics or generations. Literally any other game with classic Sonic in it. That wouldn't be a problem to make if you were just running straight down it or rolling. Running, actually, maybe you would have a problem. but definitely not rolling. So, fun fact about that. This is also just, like, not a fun level. The platforming is slow, disjointed, it's not entertaining at all. There's underwater sections, though very brief, and it just adds some of the worst elements that Chemical Plant has had over the years into one area. Thanks, Sonic Forces, we love you. But let's talk about story for a bit. We are starting to learn a little bit more about the Phantom Ruby, what makes it tick. Apparently it requires a crap ton of energy, which, oh, by the way, you just saw right there, the problem there. I just went through this massive loop, I made it through there. I had a lot of built-up speed from that, the million booster pads they throw around this level, and pretty much any classic Sonic level. And I could not make it up that tiny incline, which was terrible. But anyway, back to story. We finally know the power source, where it is, and we finally know what the purpose of the Phantom Ruby is. But we also know that we have a way around it with our magical little Phantom Ruby prototype that we found. So, I wonder if that's gonna come into play in the story later on down the line. Who knows? Yeah, it's kind of obvious what's gonna unfold here. I will say that I think I'm not a big fan of the deeper, darker, gritty stories in Sonic, because Sonic is a blue hedgehog, and like, I don't think he needs them to be successful. It's kind of like how going off topic here for a second, it's kind of how I don't think Luigi's Mansion needs a more gritty, dark atmosphere to be a good game. A lot of people like to say, like, oh, the atmosphere of the original was so good, and first of all, I disagree. I actually don't think it's that good. But more importantly, you know, like, a cartoon character doesn't necessarily need an amazing nitty-gritty story or nitty-gritty atmosphere to be a good cartoon story character thing, whatever, because, you know, it feels out of place. It feels out of play. What am I trying to say? This story, it feels like there shouldn't be war in Sonic. Cut it out. Stop. That's where that was going. That was a really weird tangent.